Hey everybody, it's Glenn back in this video with the Marvel Legends Captain America Civil War Giant Man BAF Wave Iron Man Mark 46. Then on the packaging back, Iron Man is pictured, perhaps about to take to flight, and that's borne out by the bio blurb which reads, Iron Man takes off into battle with indestructible armor and first-in-class combat technology. Then pictured on the left there is the Giant Man BAF of this wave, which my reviews of these action figures will culminate with a look at him. And the action figures you will need to collect to complete Giant Man are Captain America, Iron Man Mark 46 as we have here, Black Panther, and then representing the comics, Nuke, Nick Fury, and Red Guardian. So new movie, new set of armor, and new action figure representing it. I'd say to my eye it's reminiscent of the bleeding edge armor from the comics, and so we can focus for the rest of the review. Let's address the scratch on his faceplate. Boy, have I got unlucky with quality control here. I admit when I first saw it, I dropped to my knees, clenched and raised my fists, shaking them at the heavens, screaming, no! That got it out of my system, and I've accepted I'll have to mix and match some paint to touch that up, or leave it as battle damage from Tony having taken Cap's shield to the face. With that out of the way, honestly, even though this is a new sculpt, I expected it to leave me with the been there and done that feeling of the Cap from this wave. I think just because Hasbro have been feeding us a steady diet of Iron Man action figures. Oh, and I will point out a defect on the back of the upper left leg there, which, unlike the scratch to the faceplate, seems to be affecting all versions of this figure. In spite of that, I'm still going to put my neck on the chopping block and say this is my favourite of all of Hasbro's movie Iron Man action figures. Compared to the Avengers Age of Ultron Iron Man from the Legends Thanos BAF wave. Now I will give it to that one that it has a better metallic red. The red plastic of this latest one is more flat and as such plasticky looking in comparison. But beyond that, I feel the new one wipes the floor with those that have gone before. And I say that because most Iron Man action figures end up looking quite anorexic, whereas this one has the bulk of actually appearing to be a guy in an armoured suit. So as Iron Man squares off toe to toe with Captain America Civil War style, it finally feels we have an Iron Man to give the scale between the two a real justice. He comes packed with an open hand and clenched fist, then comes with the opposing interchangeable hands to match each of those. Let's swap out this fist for his open hand because those pertain to his accessories, which are these repulsor blast pieces molded in a translucent plastic with a frosted and graduated spray deco. They plug into each of his hands and elevate the figure beyond your typical Hasbro Iron Man. You'd have to look to Japanese imports or back to the Toy Biz days of Marvel Legends for similar accessories. They certainly increase both the play and display possibilities, and yes, they do also plug into peg holes in the bottom of his feet for a flight pose. In that way reminding me of Toy Biz Galactus BAF series War Machine. However, you'll need to supply your own flight display stand or keep him in hand as you charge around the house going zzzz. No, that wrestling hound it doesn't, and in fact the Thanos Wave 1 did come with an interchangeable head styled that way. Then I guess representing Team Iron Man, Underoos himself, Spider-Man, asked if that head fits on the new Legends, and unfortunately the ball peg on this new figure is too big for that head to fit into, leaving it looking really giraffe-necked on that body. Then Steve asked about the interchangeable Tony Stark unhelmeted head from the UK Disney Store exclusive pack, and yes, that does fit, however I still think it sits a bit too high on the neck. Now looking at articulation and the head rotates side to side, he's able to look down quite a decent amount, and then he looks up, well, I guess enough for a flight pose. At the shoulder his arm rotates, but then it really doesn't hinge up very far owing to the hard plastic shoulder armor which is glued to the ball of the shoulder. Now the previous Iron Man already featured in this video had more of a vinyl shoulder armor that was hinged at the shoulder, so affected the articulation less. But then in my opinion that doesn't look as good as this new one's shoulder armor, so it's a case of pick your poison. Do you prefer form or function? Then there's upper arm rotation followed by a double jointed elbow. Then at the wrist the hand rotates and it's also hinged, although the hinge is inhibited somewhat by that armored plate on the back of his hand. There is no waist articulation, but in lieu of that he has a rotating diaphragm joint which also moves this far forward and then this far back, At the hips, his legs really don't move very far out to the side, and they don't move especially far forward either, and don't move back at all. There's upper leg rotation, followed by a double jointed knee. Then at the ankle, his feet are hinged, moving backwards and forwards, and he has that ankle rocker pivot that I love. Yet owing to the limits of that hip articulation, he's not able to take full advantage of that ankle pivot, with this being his widest stance possible, still with both feet flat on the floor. So all things considered, I've already pretty much laid my cards on the table, and in a direct side-by-side with the movie cap and Black Panther from this wave, it just to my eye has the right scale and presence to it, making it complementary to a collection in a way I haven't found with any other movie Iron Man action figure. However, I do think some will be disappointed by the limits of the articulation, yet it does enough for me, and when I posed that form or function question, for me, if function takes away from form, I'd go with form. Anyway, I'm off to see if I can fix Iron Man's faceplate, and if you missed reviews of Captain America or Black Panther, then click one of these videos and catch up, and I hope to see you all next time. Oh, and please give this video a big thumbs up. Go on right now, it'll only take a second. Bye.